Call the regular meeting of Tuesday, May 12th, 2020 to order. Let's go ahead and take roll call. If we could start with Commissioner John Adams.
Here.
Vice Chair Bishop.
Present.
Commissioner Hefner.
Present.
And Commissioner Josh Adams.
Present.
Thank you. So roll call shows that we do have a quorum with 4 members present. For the record, we have 2 members here, Commissioner Josh Adams and Commissioner Hefner. Our other commissioners are present via telephone. We will begin tonight's meeting with an invocation by Commissioner Josh Adams, followed by invocation by Commissioner Hefner. If everyone would please rise.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for the opportunity we have to gather here this day and be able to partake of community events and be able to spend time one with another and learn of things going on in our community. As we embark in this process, we ask that that would bless and watch over our community and those in our community, that they might be kept safe and out of harm's way, that they might be healthy and happy and able to go about their daily lives. We ask that as we progress in this meeting, that we might be able to do the things that are pleasing unto thee, to help those whom we serve and those who we spend time with. Please bless us with thy spirit, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. There being no old business, this brings us to item 6A, new business. The conditional use permit application submitted by Ken Sandos to allow for a landscaping business with plant nursery and grading on property located at 1480 East Deuce of Clubs, that being APN 210-14001G. I see the applicant is entering the room now. So we'll go ahead and go through the staff report. I would like to just mention at this point, typically I would not be running the meeting, right? I'm a staff member. And my role here is just to present information. However, due to restrictions that have been placed on us due to the coronavirus, you can see we've got everybody spaced out pretty far here. And our vice chair is attending via telephone and is not present. Because of that, he's asked me to go ahead and conduct the meeting, but he is present via telephone, and so he's basically supervising the meeting itself. He's just asked me to go ahead and run through it. So with that, I'll go ahead and go through the staff summary report. Ken Sandos of Tim's Landscape Creations has submitted a conditional use permit, or CUP, to allow for a landscaping business with a plant nursery and grading on property located at 1480 East Deuce of Clubs, that being APN 210-14001G. The applicant has requested to locate a landscaping business with a plant nursery and to place fill on the subject property. Both of these require a conditional use permit. In addition, the applicant hopes to host events at the property and develop multifamily housing on the property in the future. Neither one of those are under consideration this evening. Hosting events does not require any type of conditional use permit. It would be considered a permitted use. As long as the multifamily is less than 10 units in total, that also would be a permitted use. So that would not come to the commission in the future unless they chose to do more than 10 units. It's my understanding that at this point they're proposing to do a duplex on the property with them residing in one half of that duplex. The property is currently vacant. Fill was placed on the property without a permit. Subsequently, the applicant submitted an application to the building department requesting a water meter and a permit for fill to be placed on the property, along with the preliminary grading plan. The property is zoned C2 or general commercial. Plant nurseries and grading without a building permit requires a CUP in the C2 zone. Multifamily housing, fewer than 10 units are permitted use in the C2 zone, provided they meet the standards of the R27 single and multifamily residential 7,000 square foot zoning requirements. The conceptual site plan has been attached for the commission's review. The findings of fact are as follows. The current zoning of the surrounding properties includes to the north I-1, which is light industrial, to the south C2, which is general commercial, to the east I-1, and to the west C2. The current land uses of the surrounding properties include to the north a tow yard, to the south commercial, to the east industrial, and to the west vacant commercial. Transmittal memos were sent to all affected agencies. Applicable comments received include from the city engineer. Stated before any development on the parcel is permitted, a drainage report, stormwater pollution protection plan, or SWPPP, and a notice of intent, or NOI, shall be submitted to and approved by the city. All development shall comply with Chapter 12 of the City Code. And from Timber Mesa Fire and Medical District, access widths, turnarounds, and hydrant spacings which meet the minimum fire code are required. The property was posted and letters were sent to all property owners within 300 feet of the subject property. As indicated in the staff report, no public comment was received. However, I did get 2 phone calls this afternoon, both from property owners within the 300-foot notification area. One was just general questions, requesting to know the nature of what it was that they were asking. The second was from an adjacent property owner who wanted to ensure that any work would be done on the applicant's property and not on the neighboring property. After reviewing the standards for review, the zoning ordinance, discussions with the applicant, and because the request is consistent with the City of Show Low General Plan, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve conditional use permit 602-04-224 submitted by Ken Sandos of Tim's Landscaping to allow for a landscaping business with plant nursery and grading on property located at 1480 East Deuce Clubs, that being APN 210-14-001G, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, all development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including building permit and fire district requirements. Number 2, the applicant shall submit all paperwork and plans meeting the requirements of the engineering department. Number 3, a grading permit and applicable fees are required. Number 4, any multifamily housing shall be developed in conformance with the R27 zone requirements. Number 5, any outdoor storage shall be screened per City Code Section 15-1-60E8. And number 6, prior to occupancy of any buildings by the public, buildings must meet all applicable codes at the time of use by the public, including parking, Americans with Disability Act or ADA requirements, lighting, signage, and building code. With that, staff as well as the applicant are available for question. Commissioner Hefner.
So with the family development part, the housing, would that still be okay with a septic and a well there, or do they have to tie into city for that?
So we don't have any requirements that says they have to tie into city water. Anybody can drill a well and can be on a private well. As far as the septic versus sewer, that would have to be reviewed at the time that they applied for the building permit for the multifamily.
Okay, but septic's okay for the business.
It is okay as long as they receive a septic permit from Navajo County and get the sign off from the City of Show Low Public Works Director stating that there's no conflicts with sewer at that location. Commissioner John Adams. I'm sorry, Josh Adams.
So I guess my question is, looking at the map, it only looked like there was one entrance in and out, or only one access point to the property in and out. Is there any plan to connect that to the industrial park?
There is not. There's some pretty significant topography there. So in order to connect it to the industrial park, you're actually having to go up the bluff. So, you know, you got some geologic formations there that pretty much prohibit that. We'll go to Commissioner John Adams. John, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I just have one question. When they go for the housing or the duplex, will they have to go to the planning and zoning, or is that just on a permit to make sure they meet the requirements there?
So if it is less than 10 units total, they would not need to come to you guys. It would be a permitted use. If they come in with a plan showing more than 10 multifamily apartments, which at this point they are not indicating they're going to do, that could change. But if they come in with more than 10, then it would have to come to the Planning and Zoning Commission for review as a conditional use permit.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Bishop, did you have any question?
I did have a couple. Two of them have already been addressed regarding the well house and the multifamily housing. The last question I had is I was just looking at the application, and the application was submitted nearly a year ago, and I was wondering if you could just shine some light on the fact as far as were there complications or things being worked out that prevented it from coming to planning and zoning, or was it something that was requested by the applicant to hold off on?
Yes, I can answer that question. The delay has been in getting the preliminary grading plan taken care of and submitted to staff. So they were working with the company that's doing that in order to get that grading plan done, and we just received it, which allowed us then to move forward.
Okay, that answers all my questions. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any questions for the applicant? Commissioner Hefner, do you have any questions for the applicant? Commissioner Josh Adams, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Not at this time.
Commissioner John Adams, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I don't.
Vice Chair Bishop, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I do not.
Okay, so there being no questions for the applicant, we'll bring it back to the commission. I'll ask generally, is there anyone who has any additional questions or clarifications that they would like to make at this time? I'm seeing none here. Vice Chair Bishop or Commissioner John Adams, any additional questions?
No.
No? Okay. I would look for a motion then.
I can make the motion. I'll move to approve CUP 60204-224 submitted by Ken Sandoz of Tim's Landscape Creations to allow for a landscaping business with plant nursery and grading on property located at 1480 East Deuce of Clubs, that being APN 210-14001G, subject to staff recommendation.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Hefner. I have a second by Commissioner Josh Adams. At this time, I will call for the vote. I'm going to do that by roll call. Commissioner Hefner, how do you vote?
Aye, yes.
Commissioner Josh Adams, how do you vote?
Aye, yes.
Commissioner John Adams, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Vice Chair Bishop, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, the voting shows that we have 4 ayes, so the motion has carried. Standard disclaimer, there is a 7-day appeal period. If no appeal is received by the city clerk at the end of the 7 days, this conditional use permit will become effective. At this time, Mr. and Mrs. Sandoz, thank you for being here. If you'd like, we can go ahead and excuse you.
Awesome. Thank you,
You,
guys.
you got off easy. They didn't have any questions for you.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, the next item that we have on the agenda is call to the public. I'm looking at Ms. Fechtelkotter. Did we have anybody who called in? No, okay. So seeing that we have no one interested in participating in call to the public this evening, we'll dispense with reading the boilerplate. That brings us to approval of minutes. We're looking for approval of the Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting of March 24th, 2020. I need a motion and a second. I see Commissioner Josh Adams has made a motion.
Make a second.
Commissioner Hefner has made a second. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Any correction? Commissioner Josh Adams, Vice Chair Bishop, any corrections that need to be made in those minutes?
No, not for me, no.
Okay. With that, we'll call for the vote. Commissioner Hefner,
Aye.
Commissioner Josh Adams,
Aye.
Commissioner John Adams,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Bishop.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. See that that has carried. That brings us to summary of current events. Again, we'll do this by roll call. So Commissioner Hefner, do you have any items that you'd like to bring up?
Well, it's been a very interesting month, so it's good to see that we're opening back up, moving forward. Restaurants, I was out today, and there's there's nice social distancing going on. There's good policies being set in place, and I think we should be good moving forward. Hopefully, the rest of the state follows in the same footsteps.
Okay, Commissioner Josh Adams.
Just want to remind everyone to support your local businesses. Get out there and support them and spend as much money as you can, I guess.
Okay, Commissioner John Adams.
I have nothing at this time.
No. Vice Chair Bishop.
Just to echo the comments from the other commissioners, and it's obviously great for Arizona's economy to reopen some of our businesses, especially the local ones, but also hoping that people will continue to act diligently and maintain some social distancing where they can to help protect those who are more at risk for this type of illness. I think that can go a long way.
Yep. Thank you. Just a couple other things to add. First of all, I'd encourage people to pay attention to what's being announced by the governor's office. He is announcing changes as to what can be expected and different things that can move forward. So we appreciate that. I would also like to extend appreciation to our local businesses and particularly our restaurants. I know they have been hit extremely hard. So appreciate those people who have continued to patronize them through this time, through takeout and delivery. I know they appreciate that. Don't stop. Now that they're open, continue to patronize them, continue to patronize all of our local businesses that have been affected. I would like to encourage people, if you have not taken part in the census yet, please do so. It has a lot of beneficial effects, not just on the city, but on the area in general. There are two ways to participate in the census right now. One is online through their website, which is at my2020census.gov. That's my2020census.gov. The other is by phone, which is toll-free number 844-330-2020. They're on Eastern time, but if you call anytime during the day here in Arizona, they should be there to answer the phone. A couple other things. Our local high schools graduation is going to be a little bit different this year than it has in the past with the distancing requirements. I know Sholo High School has quite a few activities that are planned that are actually kind of exciting how they're going to do it. And as the father of a graduate this year, I appreciate the efforts that they have made. Big thing though, and this seems to happen every year, urge people, particularly our students, to be safe and to make good choices. We do not want this year's graduation to be marred due to an unfortunate and tragic accident. That is something we've had to go through in the past, and hopefully we can avoid it this year and other years in the future. And then I would just like to congratulate our community. The efforts that we are making, particularly with social distancing, are making a difference and people are noticing. I was speaking with a contractor this afternoon who's out of town. They went to one of the local restaurants just to get lunch, and which we appreciate, by the way. But as they walked in, 2 or 3 people made the comment to them about, keep your distance and keep the 6 foot. So this contractor made the comment to me that people here are really taking that serious. So we appreciate that. With that, if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.